screen.
And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, December 22nd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. Boy, you talk about a frosty morning. We've got one this morning. 31 degrees is what my car thermometer said, and that's in the neighborhood of right, I think. It's kind of cold out there, but it's what we expect this time of year. I have with me on the phone this morning Bob McDonald, CEO of Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And you're coming in loud and clear. How are things?
Yeah, things are great. Thank you for letting me join you by phone this morning. I tell you, December is always a real busy time for us at the bank. There's always a lot going on. We're wrapping up the year. We're helping customers do some of their final banking for the year, and the week going into Christmas is always busy. One thing to talk about here real quick is, there's so much business going on right now. People out shopping, and they're either in a store shopping or they're online shopping. We really encourage people to be careful with their credit cards and their debit cards. On our website, Coleman, www.cedarstonebank.com, we have a link where we give people about 12 tips on how to be safe and secure with your identity and with your credit cards and debit cards. And just a few of the basics are just, make sure if you're online, make sure you know where you are, that you understand it to be a safe website to do shopping. Don't give anyone your passwords or your PINs for any of your credit cards or debit cards. And one other thing, Coleman, is we encourage people to not let their credit card or debit card be exposed in the public for very long, because there are scanning devices that people have that they can be in a room, and if you have your credit card exposed on a table, let's say, for example, you're having lunch and you've got your credit card out, there are devices that can pick up your credit card number and all of your information, and within minutes, people can be shopping with your credit card or your debit card. So just keep your debit card in a safe place, and make sure you know where you're shopping, that you believe it to be a safe website or a safe location.
Well, that's a good tip to offer there, and something it's really easy to forget about. It's just so, if you normally do that, it's just so easy and so often that you just lay that card down there, and especially if somebody's fairly close, it's probably no problem at all for them to scan that thing.
Not at all. It happens so often. We get customers who come in who've had that happen to them, and they make sleeves that you can put your credit cards in that provide additional security, and it doesn't let those scanners penetrate into the cards. So just, again, go on our website at cedarstonebank.com, and there's a link there for safety and security for your identity and your credit cards. But we're having a good week, Coleman. All of our customers are in good spirits for Christmas. All of our employees are in good spirits, and we're looking forward to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And I'm sure you and your family have big plans.
We got plans. I'll tell you what I was thinking. Aren't you going to be closed both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
We will be open till noon on Christmas Eve, Coleman. Thanks for asking. We'll be open from 8 until 12 noon on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
and we will be closed on Saturday, which is Christmas Day.
Right. And have you made any plans for the next weekend that you want to tell us about quickly here?
We have, thank you, and I'll remind everyone next week. But on New Year's Eve, we will be open regular hours, which is on Friday from 8 until 6, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, Coleman, we found that there's just so much going on. Customers need to do banking to the very last minute on the last day of the year.
Yep.
We understand that. We understand retailers need to come in and get cash. We understand people are doing some last-minute financial planning for year-end. There are loans that are closing. And so we need to be there for our customers. And so we'll be there regular hours next Friday from 8 until 6.
All right. And this Friday until noon.
Yes, sir, 8 until noon. And we look forward to seeing everyone come in. Susan and I, we have a big Christmas day planned somewhat. For the first time in a long time, it'll just be Susan and me on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. Michael and his wife, Kate, will be going to Philadelphia, where she's from, to be with her family. Robert will be going to Dyersburg to be with his fiancee, Mallory, and her family. So Susan and I will be kind of low-key that evening and that day, but we'll go see Willie and Helen on Christmas Day, and we'll go visit some friends, but we're looking forward to a nice weekend.
Well, that's great. And just a final in 20 seconds here, a mention of the Simply Better free checking account. We don't want to forget that.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. It's we're opening those accounts every day, Coleman. And in particular, now we're getting new customers every day. We're getting customers of all age who need a checking account. So we invite your listeners who do not currently bank with us to come see us and visit with our nice people and let us take care of them.
Right, and keep selling those Lions Club pecans. I think last time I checked, you still had a few.
We're almost out, Coleman.
All right, y'all better hurry, because there's not many of them left. Bob, thank you so much. Have a great one, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Coleman. Merry Christmas to you and MJ and Billy, okay?
Thank you. Bob McDonald, he's President and CEO of Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. And we're 10 and a half after the hour. This is the guest I'm going to introduce here. I feel real good about him being here today. Is a gentleman I have known, I guess, since high school. Sort of. I knew who he was. He probably didn't know me in high school. But if I've got your attention yet, or you're wondering, I want to introduce Judge Haywood Berry. Judge, good morning and welcome to our program one more time.
Good morning, Coleman. I'm proud to be here with you. I do remember you from high school. I was, I think, maybe a senior, and you were maybe freshman or sophomore.
I was, yes.
But I think
your brother Jim and I had Latin together in Mrs. Cheney's class.
Yeah, Jim worked with TRW for about 37 years, and he's still, like me, still kicking about as high as he can. But I know definitely he would remember you for sure. But I remember those days and then I think we both went to Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, we did. You probably were nearly through when
I started. I was moving on out to go to work for probably Burlington Industries and down in Georgia, and I stayed there about 3 years and then came back to Lebanon.
Well, you've had quite a career when you think about the different things that you have done. And Judge being, I guess, the biggest part of that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
You have you've had a role in our community here, and you're ready to retire in a few days. I guess really it's about over this week, isn't it?
Pretty well, because of the holidays coming in. My last regular docket is today. They tell me it's a pretty good-sized docket, so I'll be looking forward to that. But in General Sessions Court, that's not unusual. Yeah. Most of the dockets are big.
Well, you have worked, and I think you've worked pretty hard all your life. I mean, you hadn't sat under the shade tree very much. Even when you were in high school, you had a paper route, maybe one of the biggest that they had here.
According to Mr. Hankins, Joe Hankins was our boss back in those days. I actually started hanging around the paper station about 1948. Somewhere in that, you become a substitute first, and then later they'll give you a route. But you have to find someone that'll sign a bond for you, because Mr. Ash out there at the grocery store where I lived, he signed it, and Mr. Bennett lived up behind me. So once I got my bond signed, I became a real paper boy and did it all through high school.
You made pretty good money doing that, didn't you?
It was tremendous. I don't know how I would have made it without it. I would say back in those days, I'd averaged $30 a week, $30 a week. which was more maybe than some men.
Listen, I can remember a few years later than that when minimum wage was $1 and people worked 40 hours a week and only made $40. Yes, that was good money.
I went to work for the city for a summer, and they paid 75 cents an hour, and then all the schoolboys were terminated because the wage went to $1, and he come in and told us he couldn't afford us at $1 an hour, and I went to work for Stanzel Electric Company for the rest of that summer, digging ditches.
Well, you studied what? You studied engineering?
I started out in engineering, but I found out that in high school I'd never heard of calculus, and of course I passed calculus in college, but it just was. I could see that I wasn't cut out maybe to be an engineer, so I switched off to industrial management.
Okay.
And my degree was in business and industrial management.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about. It's time to take a break. But you decided to run for judge, and I believe it was Judge Dan Seaves.
Dan was the judge. I remember Dan well. In 1974.
Yeah.
I'd only practiced law for 2 years, so I didn't have a lot of credentials to be running for anything, but the people took to me, and also there was Mr. Lee, Ewell Lee was in that race, but I was a fair-haired boy back in those days, and I got 52% of the vote in a three-man race, so the people probably remembered me as their paper boy or something.
Right, and that took care of you for 8 years.
Oh yeah, and it was part-time for that first 8 years.
All right, let's take a break right here. More with Judge Haywood Berry coming up here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning, THB. Out here running a lot of radar up and down I-40 through certain sections of Wilson County and Smith County. Be careful. They're going to be cracking down more and more over the next couple of days as far as that radar is concerned. Still looks good right now. I-40 coming in through Kingston Springs. All that traffic behind it there coming in from Dixon County and Hickman County. Again, just watch your speed. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar is home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Log on to GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather. But just like the weather, one moment it's sunny, and the next, you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help. A reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Hi, I'm Mayor Rick Bell.
And I'm Sarah Haston, your Economic Development Director for the City of Lebanon.
And we're asking each of you to shop Lebanon this Christmas season.
Are you ready for the hustle and bustle, Mayor?
Absolutely. 'Tis the season, and I'm ready to get everyone checked off my list by shopping Lebanon and shopping small.
Well, it's definitely important to support our Lebanon business community.
Indeed. Our Lebanon businesses are the backbone of our community, and they support us all year.
That's right. Let's show some local love at Christmas. We are asking everyone to commit to give back by shopping your local retailers here in Lebanon.
Have a Merry Christmas from all of us at the City of Lebanon.
A short week and a quick turnaround. Find the Titans on Thursday Night Football this week at Nissan Stadium to host the San Francisco 49ers. The award-winning Titans countdown happens at 6. Then kickoff of Titans and 49ers with Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis happen at 7:20. Thursday Night Football here.
Brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Ball Plumbing, the Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee 811. Call before you dig.
This is Titans Radio, 98.9 WANT.
Coleman and Company, we have Judge Haywood Berry here this morning, and I hate to use the expression swan song, but that's sort of what we're doing, I guess, but a little reminiscing here, and we've talked about your early days in high school and college, and then delivering those newspapers and getting paid pretty well, and you told me off the air here you had quite a bit saved up by the time you went to college.
Joe Hankins was a kind of mentor to me. I probably would have never gone to college, except he said some of the boys would spend their money on motorcycles and cars and all sorts of things, you know. And he said, you don't need to be doing that, so just keep riding that bicycle and put some money in the bank. And he would always kid us. I also worked with him in the service station that he had there. And one of his sayings was, boys, we'd all stand around on a cold morning. He'd say, boys, don't stand too close to that cash register. He says, I know you're not going to put anything in, and you might take something out.
Well, we got you to be General Sessions judge, defeating Daniel C., and then Ewell Lee was in the race as well.
Right.
How long were you in there at that position?
Well, 24 years that first time around, and then the second term they added to my duties. They added juvenile court and probate court. So then, of course, it became a full-time job straight out. And I took a real interest in the juvenile part of it and started. I'd already been doing some work with juvenile court, not that court, but statewide. And so my idea then was I wanted to really develop the juvenile court. And I think within 8 years there, we had it going really good.
Well, a fellow named Barry Tatum came along.
Barry came along. We worked together, and I think he would say the same thing I'm saying, that we've worked together now for 7 years and not had a single crossword of any kind.
Well, that's great, but he did. He defeated.
He got more votes than me. Now, I don't like that word defeated or beat, but he got more votes than me.
And he became
the General Sessions that I was doing I did it for 24 years. And then I think he's been there now since '98, so he's going to have 24.
But I believe you served on the city council for a
2
while.
terms. After I retired, my first retirement as judge, I served on the city council 2 terms. And when Don Fox was there, and then a couple more mayors came in during that time. Mr. Craighead came in. And I served, William Farmer and I were allies, I guess you'd say, at that time. William and I, of course, he was a year behind me in high school. We were both attorneys, and so we had a majority at that time of 4 of the 6, so we were trying to get some things done. One of the things I wanted to do was term limits. We couldn't get that through the legislature, but we did the next round after I left. They were able to get term limits in.
Well, one of the things I guess I remember most about you had been there, as you said, for 24 years. You'd done other things, and then the opportunity came to run again, and there was 6 or 7 of you.
Yeah, I think there were 5.
Just 5?
I believe it was just 5.
Oh, well, it was
quite a
number.
few. So
and I'm going to be honest. I thought you would be 4th or 5th. You had our city judge was in there. The public defender now, Shelley Gardner.
Miss Gardner.
There's a lawyer from Mount Juliet who was running.
He did really good. Trey Marshall.
Yeah.
And then Andy Wright.
Yeah.
But
you had a strategy that you used, and you told me about that later, and it made a lot of sense. And you worked what you thought would be a winning campaign, and it turned out to be.
And one of my side issues there is I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and I didn't. I spent very little money, but I felt like I had a residual support, in the community, and I wound up that I did, and I won. It wasn't like overwhelmingly, but I got more votes than anyone else. So
that's all it takes.
All it took,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what other prognosticators might have thought about that, but I don't think if a general consensus had been done by people who kind of follow the elections, I don't think they would have said you were going to win that. But you went after the people that you knew had supported you before.
Right.
You really catered to them, and
sure,
they came through for you.
Yeah, sure. And then I was surprised that, some would even remember me, but they did. And I was so proud of winning that one because it kind of, once that so lost one election and to win again made me feel really proud.
Well, it had to, yeah. Well, what's just 7 years you're completing now of that?
Yeah, I'm not going to finish the full term. There's 8. Judge Lee will be coming in on the first of the year, and he'll finish out the rest of that term. And then, of course, he'll have to be on the ballot in August of 22.
Right. Well, I mean, you could have done another year. You've, I'm sure, thought about this and made your decision. What led you to go ahead and take off a year?
I'd say the main thing is the COVID came in about 2 years ago, and that's just been devastating to the way the court would operate. First of all, it shut down for 2 times. The cases just began to pile up. The cases kept coming in even though COVID was there. Then, of course, some of my better working partners left. Judge Tommy Thompson resigned, and then Buck Chambers, who was my main man in the court, he resigned. And so I started working with basically all new people, And so I just didn't really want to go through a lot of those changes, although they're fine people and we've done a good job, I think. That was part of it. And then one morning I was kidding somebody. I said, my wife says, "It's your birthday." And I said, "It is." And I said, "What am I, 65? She said, "No, you're 85. And so when I turned 85, looking forward, that you can't last forever. Nobody's that I know of has lasted forever. And although I want to stay a while longer, I did want to do some things. I want to try to write a little book about the history of the court. I want to finish up my genealogy. I'm a member of the Middle Tennessee Genealogical Society. I want to finish that up.
Yeah,
and then, of course,
we have some common ancestors.
Right, we do, and I'm proud of it. I think when you called me, I said, I called you back and I said, "It's cousin Haywood."
You did, you sure did.
But we do. I think it goes all the way back to the people that lived out on the river there, Mr. McKinney, and Sam McKinney was. He's a forebear of mine and yours, I believe, and. We come out of that stuff.
As you think of your years on the bench, how would you like to be thought of, or what kind of job you think you've done? I'm sure there's a few times that you might have done things a little bit different, but overall, are you rest easy at night with the decisions you've made?
I would say 99 9/10. I had one just a week or two ago. I went home. I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about it. A young lady that I thought we'd probably given her too much time in the jailhouse. So I talked to the DA the next morning, and we changed her sentence from that. But occasionally you'd have something like that bother you. Then sometimes it just gets hectic, and maybe you say things in court you shouldn't say. And so I've had some regrets about that kind of thing, But overall, I'm 99 9/10 like Ivory Soap, clear that my conscience is clear. They had a honorarium for me, the Bar Association did, on Saturday night, and several people made a little talk, and they generally said they thought I was honest and forthright, and that even though sometimes I didn't always make the right decision, I was honest about the decisions I made. And so what else can you say about a judge?
Really, I think that's about it. I mean, we don't all agree on everything.
Sure.
And but there's a lot of responsibility there. There's a lot of weight got to be on your shoulders, especially on some of these harder decisions you have to make.
With the adults, it's there, but with the juveniles, I did that for 16 years, and it is a real load. Judge Tatum, I admire him. He works so hard with that, and I did for 16 years, and so I know what he goes through with those kids, and you just don't know sometimes what you're doing, whether you're doing 100% right or wrong, but you've got to keep doing the best you can with kids.
Well, we've got a minute here. You're going to do some writing, but
I'm going to try to.
Do any traveling?
No, Gene and I, pretty well traveled out, I think. We won't be doing a lot of travel. She's not so big about it, and I'm not either anymore. I used to love to travel, but I'll probably the furthest I'll go is to see my son Ken up in Norris, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I might get that far.
Okay. Well, we certainly wish you well in retirement, and then you get one of those books written. Well, let me know. We'll bring you out here and talk.
Oh well, yeah. I'm going to start on it. I'll probably take a little rest here for a month or so. But then I've got a lot of material piled up, and it's just, you know how that is, sorting it out. It's not easy.
Oh, well, thanks so much for sharing your time with us this morning.
I've always enjoyed being with you,
Well,
Coleman.
I appreciate that, and it's really nice to have you, and we wish you well. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for part one. We've got more coming up, so we hope you'll keep it here. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota Redmax. Complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's actually just now starting to get a little bit busy at times here on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. It's been pretty quiet out here, especially as far as interstate accidents. Now, they're working a wreck over in the 1200 block at Gallatin Pike that's going to be in Madison. Some radar spotted earlier on I-40 coming through Kingston Springs. All that traffic coming in from Dixon County. Princess Hot Chicken now available for catering. Check them out online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedar Stone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, we are A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, community trusted since 1977.
One of the real joys of the holiday season is the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your business.
And most importantly, your trust in us.
From everyone at A.G. & Johnson, we wish you a happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy holiday season!
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
You'll need the sunglasses today. Skies will be bright and sunny. Highs today will top out in the mid-60s. Rain showers are likely on Thursday, so don't forget the umbrella. Temperatures on Thursday reach the upper 60s. Showers and storms do continue on Friday as well. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman & Company, it is a Wednesday, a wonderful Wednesday. The frost is on the pumpkin, if there's any pumpkins out there. But I don't know about out there, but in here, Philip Etherly joins us to talk about Absolute Rental and Supply at 1335 West Main. Good morning.
1325.
1325. Did I say that wrong?
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. It's early. It's early.
Well, it's good to see you. I hope things are going well.
And we're extremely well. Everything's, we've had such a warm, unbelievably warm December, and it's been fairly dry. So we've been busy. I like it that way.
Well, I know you do. The number to remember if you're thinking about renting is 443-RENT, 615-443-RENT. And you can go to the website, absoluterental.com, and find a whole inventory that's there, which does change from time to time. But old Phil stays up with the times.
Yeah, we try to. We try, like I say, our goal is for the customer to be able to get their job done the most efficient way possible. And so in that way, we try to have the most efficient equipment to be able to do that. So, we'll ask you a lot of questions when you call asking about a piece of equipment. We're going to ask you several questions about what you're doing, where you're doing it at, and so forth, because there again, we're wanting to make sure you have a good experience and get the right piece of equipment.
It helps in both ways. You want to make sure somebody's going to get the good that they want out of that, and they got to know how to operate it to do that. And another thing, you don't want it brought back torn up.
Exactly. That's a key there, too. Yeah, we laugh all the time, say it's kind of a chess game and trying to make sure, the equipment's being used for the right deal. But it really is important. We've described several times there's a difference between a way a tank or a bulldozer's made or a way a backhoe's made. And so there's a difference in that deal. So we're just trying to make sure you get the right piece of equipment.
Well, you've been doing this now for 20 years, and you've built up clientele. You have contractors that depend on you, and you have a lot of people that do it for themselves who depend on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really do. We have, I think, a good mix between the homeowners and the small general contractors. We don't try to be everything for everybody, but we do try to specialize. We take, someone calls in and they ask for a piece of equipment we don't have, we write that down, and then we kind of monitor that deal and see if we got so many phone calls on that, and maybe it's something we need to start looking into. And so we do try to keep up and find out what people are needing and make sure we have what they need. But on the same hand, it's a rental company. You can't have everything.
Well, it's holiday time here. Christmas right around the corner. What's this week, next week usually?
We're going to be closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Both Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we're open till 5, just regular hours on that deal. Probably limited staff. People start kind of trying to ease out after lunchtime, depending on how busy we are. But we want everybody to get home, spend time with their family, and enjoy. We were very thankful for a very blessed 2020-21, and we're appreciative of that, and we look forward to serving everybody in 2022.
Well, you have a number of employees whose livelihood depends on your business there, and that's good. You're contributing to the economy as well as to your own and theirs. And,
yeah.
I don't know any particular thing to talk about. You still have, of course, the lifts. If people need to get up high, they're available.
Yeah, the aerial lifts, they're still busy. We had one go out this morning. I pulled in the gate at 6:30 this morning. There was a guy bringing a mini excavator back and a guy there to get the lift. So, we were wide open. And I always like that. When I look up and it finally hits 7 o'clock and I know we've already served 4, 5, 6 customers, I like that idea. I like the, technically we're not even open yet, but yes, we've already been able to take care of these people. And sometimes, people have to wait a little bit, waiting on help to kind of move in. But there again, I like that.
Yeah.
I like knowing that we're.
Well, it's good to hear you say you've had a good year, and we like to see businesses prosper. And I hope that we've helped you a little bit prosper coming here every Wednesday to talk about it.
Oh, it's been very beneficial. There's not a week goes by I don't have somebody come and say, "Hey, I heard you on Coleman the other morning," and we'll laugh about this or that. So yeah, I definitely. I think it's very beneficial.
All right. Well, we will see you next Wednesday. We'll be here, and hopefully you will be too, unless you send somebody, which is rare.
Yeah. I'm sitting there trying to think what I've got going next week. But anyway, somebody will be here for sure.
All right. Well, have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Philip Adley, Absolute Rental and Supply. And again, they are located at 1325 West Main here in Lebanon, 615-443-RENT. Well, Mayor Bell is here this morning. Rick, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How you doing?
I am doing well. It's honestly, there's a little bit more frost and might be a degree or two colder than I had anticipated. I didn't wear my gloves when I went out to scrape the frost off the windshield. My hands got cold, but it's a good day. It's a wonderful Wednesday.
It is, and last night, of course, we had a city council meeting, and I think the most important thing we did was we got finished early so Fred Burton could come to the WA&T WCUR Christmas party last night.
Well, he put in an appearance. He didn't stay there very long.
Did he not?
I saw him and then I missed him. I think he left early, but anyway, he was gone when I left. But good to see him and everybody else. Susie knows how to put on a good show.
Well, I saw the pictures on Facebook. Looked like y'all had a great time. I hope nobody got too wild last night.
The food was good.
Good.
Well, what did y'all do at City Council last night?
Well, we had a few things that happened last night that are important. I reappointed several people to some commissions. Chad Williams, who has served on the Planning Commission for a while. I appointed him to a new term. And J.D. Lowry, he was up for the Lebanon Municipal Airport Commission, so he rejoined that board. And then Ronnie Kelly, who is out here a lot, he was reappointed to the Lebanon Housing Authority Committee or Commission. And so I appreciate all three of them taking time to volunteer for those. And all three of them have been involved for a long time, and they're going to continue that. So,
well, I gotta put in a little word here for Ronnie Kelly. Get to know him a little bit better when he's here every Thursday. We see him and Paul Tubbs. But Ronnie's been a part of the election board for a long time. Mm-hmm. He's very involved in the community as well as selling all the cars.
He does, and he does a lot for us. He's on the Lebanon Housing Authority. He's also on the Planning Commission. I know he's on the board of the Civic League. Mm-hmm. So Ronnie, he's heavily involved in the community, and and he always has been, and his entire family really is. So I really appreciate everything they do.
Well, my impression of Ronnie is he wants to do what's right and make the right decision. We might not always agree, and none of us agree 100% all the time. But I think he's a good citizen and a hard worker and a good man for the job.
Absolutely, and that's the thing about public service, whether it's elected officials or people who volunteer for commissions. It's just make the best decision you can, do what you think is right, and I think there are a lot of people around here, in the city and the county as well who do that.
Yeah. Well, what else do we need to talk about this morning?
Well, there were a couple things last night. It's right before Christmas, so it was a little bit slow, but there are two important things that happened on our agenda. One was, we've talked about these before, but they're official now. One is, I asked Paul Corder, our planning director, to come up with a plan to limit the amount of houses that can go on one lot. Mm-hmm. We've seen some examples of 3 or 4 houses being built on where there used to be just one house. So last night the city council approved on second reading where in our single family neighborhoods where that won't happen. There's one primary structure, and you can still put an outbuilding or a mother-in-law suite or something like that. Mm-hmm. But we're really trying to stop this. Take one large lot where there's one house and then divide up into 4. Yeah. So I appreciate the city council approving that last night. And then also,
when does that go into effect?
Well, right now.
All right.
Yeah, once they passed it.
They passed it, so it's in effect.
It's in effect. All yeah. Right. And then also, we talked last time about growth paying for itself. And so last night in that Barton's Creek watershed, which is South Hartman Drive, mm-hmm. and also some of 109. That we put a special assessment on developments out there. So per unit, there'll be a special assessment to help pay for any future, utility upgrades and as far as sewer and that type of thing. So, that's one of those things we feel like that, these new developments coming in. I mean, they're creating an impact, and they should pay for that impact instead of like the current ratepayers doing that.
Is there much opposition when something like that is presented?
Well, we didn't have any. For this one, it passed unanimously, through planning and also on city council. We didn't have anybody really speak out against it. I think it's something that, most people think is a good idea.
Well, somebody's got to pay for it.
That's right. That's right. And, and it's either the developer or it's the current ratepayers. And, I know last time that, you asked me a question, well, what about the people who buy those houses? And I said, well, right now I'm concerned about the people who are here, we don't want to put any more strain on them than we need to. And so I think, having developers pay these special assessments for, whatever future, upgrades we need to do, then they need to pay for it.
Well, you sort of get that mindset established. The city backs that way of doing it, and then it's kind of, I guess, expected in the future. Then I don't think you're going to have to fight this battle continuously.
I think so. Actually, the city's done it before, and then we stopped at some point. I'm not sure when that was, but it's one of those things that when you make this change, and it's like any change, when you make a change, there may be people grumble about it or something, but once it's established, people get used to it, and I think it'll be fine.
Oh, it might be a supply and demand sort of thing. I mean, if we were sparsely populated and really wanted development and needed that, then we might look at it a little bit differently. If we needed some more people here to keep some factories open or something.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's not. It's totally the opposite of that.
Well, I grew up here just like you did, and Judge Perry and Philip and a lot of other people, and I can remember times in our history where, Lebanon, we were doing everything we could to get people to come here and build.
Yeah.
And but we're not in that position right now. People are coming to us, and I really think it's a privilege to build here. And I've said it many times. We're at a point where we can pick and choose, and a lot of people want to be here. A lot of people want to build here, and I think they'll pay their part.
Okay, with that, let's take our break. Mayor Rick Bell is with us, as he is after each city council meeting, and we'll continue our discussion after this break on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, and they've got the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. It's $49.95, up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at a crash that just happened here. They're trying to move the damaged vehicles on 40 westbound, just past Fessler's. It's really aggravating all that traffic that's trying to get in from the Donaldson area here on 40 westbound. Again, right past Fessler's. Got traffic pretty slow. Also, 24 east at Haywood Lane. There's a crash waiting for you there as well. That one getting some attention to the right-hand lane, so be aware of that as you head out towards Murfreesboro. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Log on to GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck, you're on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staples, from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
The Dancing Lights of Christmas and Santa's Village is back for their 12th annual celebration of the magical Christmas season. With over 2 million lights spanning a 2.5-mile route, all perfectly synchronized to some rockin' Christmas tunes, you'll experience the dazzling sights and sounds of the Dancing Lights of Christmas from inside the comfort of your own vehicle. And for the first time ever, helicopter rides are available where you can see the lights dance from the sky. The Dancing Lights of Christmas and Santa's Village at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, 5 p.m. nightly, including all holidays. More info at thedancinglightsofchristmas.com.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our thanks to Mayor Rick Bell for putting in an appearance of yours. He always does. So reliable, like a lot of. We've got a lot of reliable regulars, and you're one of them.
Yeah, well, I just appreciate you having me out here.
Well, let's talk more about either last night's meeting or whatever's going on in the city.
Well, that was about it for last night's meeting. Everything else was pretty basic things, but that was our last meeting of the year, and this is my first full year as mayor, and I really appreciate the staff, the city council, and everybody working with me this first year, and I really feel like that we accomplished a lot this year, and I just want to go over a few things that that we did. We've been talking about growth,
okay,
and we were able to get the comprehensive plan passed early on, and I feel like that was important to create a plan, to try to manage growth a bit, and that included a future land use plan, and which really lets developers know what we want and what locations, and really updating that was important as well. Our zoning committee has been working hard ever since that was established to tighten up our zoning code. Last night, Paul Corder gave a update on that, and there's some things that we'll probably see next week that they've been working on that they'll be able to put into effect here soon. we put in our townhouse regulations, which I really felt like was important. We've talked about before that, we talk about, the structure types a lot. We've talked about single family homes, apartments, things like that. But, I think people don't realize how many townhouses have been approved already, before I ever got in office. And so I feel like something to be done about that. And what's interesting is since we put those townhouse regulations in place, we haven't had too many townhouse developments come through. So, so I think that's
what is different. What is so different about them?
Well, the thing about them was that I saw was, townhouses. Some of them are owned, some of them are rented. I mean, there are different aspects to them, but there's 6 or 7 of them in one building, but they all face one direction. So it's different from an apartment building, but it's similar, But what I was noticing was, and there's some other construction right now, that I see, they look very, very industrial. There's just a flat front with a big, garage on the front, and it doesn't look like a house.
Okay.
And it's called a townhouse. So the regulations we put in really said, okay, if you're going to build these things, then make them like a house. Put a porch on them. Don't let the garage dominate. We really prefer the garage being in the back. That way people have a front yard. So we put those in effect to basically say, okay, if you're going to build these things, then make them look good. And, as I said, since we passed those regulations, we haven't had many come through. So I'm not sure what that means, but it means that, that if we do get them, we're going to get good ones.
Yeah, right.
Managing growth was, we really need to get ahead of that, and there's a lot more to do, but we've gotten off to a good start of getting that done. Plus the special assessment we just talked about, that when it comes to utilities, of course, we went through a budget process, and I did ask my department heads to make cuts, and we were able to do that with no property taxes increases. In fact, we were able to lower the tax rate based on those appraisals. And what's surprising is that process is going to start again right after the first of the year, and it's amazing how time flies. But we'll start that process again, and we're going to go through the same practice. I'm gonna ask for cuts, and we're gonna do that again.
We seem to, from everybody I've talked to, seem to have a pretty good surplus. So we've got a rainy day fund and maybe more.
We do.
I'm sure you're aware and keep your eye on that.
We do, and we have a rainy day fund that we never touch. That's there for emergencies. In case something terrible happens. But we do have our general fund, which is we have money. It's basically our savings account that we can has quite a bit in it, and we need to keep an eye on that. To make sure that, it's there. One of the things I ran on was, making sure that we're responsible in our spending. And, things are good right now. They really are. Our sales taxes are coming in at record rates. Of course, people are paying their property taxes right now, so I just paid mine this week. And, so we have revenue coming in, but you just can't overextend yourself. I mean, because, times aren't always going to be good. And this housing boom is probably going to bust at some point. And, we just don't want to get to a point to where, we overextend ourselves now. So if things do go bad, then we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We want to keep things in line. So that's what, Stuart Lawson and he's the finance commissioner. We've been making sure we keep a good eye on that and really keep a good eye on, how people are handling their budgets. We had a budget last year, and people, we're in the middle of it now. And, every month we get together and see where the spending is, make sure people are in line, nobody's really, gone too far yet. And
one of the things that's happened, and especially in the county, and I don't know how it's affected you necessarily, you can tell us, but having to pay overtime in certain situations because of a shortage of employees.
That's true. I mean, my department heads and Sylvia Reichel, our human resources director, we talk about it all the time, how it's a tough market out there to get people. And we face it just like, just like businesses face it, just like the county's facing. That's one of the reasons at the last meeting, city council approved, a retention bonus for our employees, to help with that. I know that, the county did that too. And so, we all compete against each other for employees, and But for the C11, I mean, I feel like we have a good benefits package that we can offer. We have some other things we can offer, and C11 is a great place to work. But it is tough. It really is. And every year we have to look at that. To see what we can do to attract people to work.
But as we grow, we probably need to expand some of these departments and have even more firemen, more policemen, more garbage collectors, whatever.
That's true. And especially any kind of living space, where it's a house or townhouse, whatever it is. I mean, it requires servicing. That's more for police to do. That's more for fire to do. But not just that. Internally, our planning staff, our engineering staff, our building inspectors. All the people working utilities. I mean, growth adds to that too. Because we have to have people to do those jobs, and so it's all one big puzzle. It all has to fit together. But my job is to to make sure that that we're doing everything the right way. Okay, that we're watching our spending. We're putting our position. If we watch our spending in one area, then that puts us in a position to hire somebody in another area. So. We just have to keep an eye on things to make sure, and that's why I say we can't overextend ourselves and just spend it all, because what happens when we're not getting it.
Well, somebody is probably requested of, we really need, whichever department it is, we need more people here. We're short, and you probably hear that across the board a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them can present a pretty good argument, I think.
They do, and they all do, and they all, every department head I have, they're all great, and they all come to me in support of their department, and that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to tell me what they need. It's my job, and it's the council's job to go through that and say, okay, well, they say they need this, but can we do this? Can we do this other thing? And so,
can we get by with a little less?
Can we get by with a little less? And that's the way businesses work. That's the way the government needs to work. Is that they promote their departments, they advocate for them, and that's what they should do. My job is to take all the information and come up with a budget. And it's the city council's job to look at that budget and see what they think as well, and then live within it. Because people want a lot, but sometimes, we just have to say, okay, well, but we're going to have to do.
Well, you were saying the city's a good place to work, and I think it is. They have some good benefits, but from time to time, as the cost of living increases, raises are important, and especially to keep people, and that's something else you have to think about.
That's true. And this past year, we went through the budget process. When I became mayor, they were in the middle of a pay study. To look at the overall pay structure, see what needs to be done. And so we were able to increase pay through that, and then, this year we'll have to look at a cost of living increase, because, we know how inflation is, it affects all of us. And so we're going to look at that as well. Because, the employees are vital to the city. I mean, what they do supports 40,000 people. And I'm talking about, everybody at the city, and they work hard, and they all have important jobs. I know, a lot of people out there don't realize exactly what they do. I mean, because there's some we see in public, out about, but there are a lot of other people who are working behind the scenes that we never see. And the people going out at night to work on things that may be, broken or leaking or things like that. So, we have a lot of people who work hard and do great jobs, and we have to figure out. I have to figure out. The council has to figure out what can we do best for them, and we look at that all the time.
Are we pretty much over the tornado and all the after effects of that? And you were going to say which one?
Well, this past tornado didn't. We were lucky and blessed. We didn't. It didn't hit us that much. We had some damage, but nothing like you see other places.
All right.
The Lebanon Police Department and the fire department and some others. We've helped Mayfield, Kentucky out with some things, but and I can't imagine what they're going through. But as far as the effects from last year, it's we're pretty well through it
Yeah.
from a repair standpoint. Now, we're just now getting through it from an insurance standpoint. That we're still working on that part of it. In fact, that's getting finalized now. But from that standpoint, I think we've gotten through it.
We got just a minute here. As you look to 2022, any big changes? Keep on keeping on.
As I said, we've accomplished a lot, and my goal is to continue accomplishing things. Keep working on this stuff. Keep working on growth. Keep working on, the financial aspects of it, infrastructure. There's so many things to, but we have some things we're working on that we'll talk about as we move forward. But we're not stopping.
Yeah.
We're working urgently to make sure that we do things the right way.
Well, it's about time for us to close out here this morning. But your city will be what are the hours?
We'll be off Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
This week, and then
so today is it.
Today is it, and we'll be off the next 2 days, and then next week, on New Year's Day we'll be off as well. But I want to make sure I tell everyone Merry Christmas. This is a special time of year, and I hope everyone has a great Christmas, and be safe out there as you travel around, and be careful. But have a great holiday.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for being with us. That's it for a Wednesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition. And until then, I wish you a wonderful day.